Ooh, so spicy. So spicy, so much fun that I'm just forever grateful of the fun and uh, kinkiness that we get to have within our relationship and the fact that we are constantly pushing each other and challenging each other and taking our edges to new limits with one another.
I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of Owning Your Sexual Self and happy Love Month. Yes, we are officially in the month of February, and I am just so excited for the topics that I have set aside for you for this month. We are talking today first with three kinky things to try for Valentine's Day this year, which Valentine's Day, obviously, if you don't know this, newsflash, it's coming up. It's February 14th. It's on a Tuesday this year, which you've heard me talk before about how Tuesdays are my favorite day of the week. Danny and I do the No TV Tuesday every week where we unplug for the evening and just get really intimate with each other. And this past Tuesday was so nice. Here's the thing, it doesn't always have to include sex. It really is for us about connecting. Does sex typically happen? Yeah, maybe. Well, I shouldn't even say sex. Do orgasms typically happen? Yes. The answer is yes. So I'm really, really excited again, these topics that we have coming up. So anyways, Valentine's Day is on a Tuesday. And what I'm sharing with you today is three kinky things to try for Valentine's Day this year. And some of them, depending on how long you've been listening to the podcast or depending on how quote unquote kinky you are, maybe you've already tried some of these things. Or maybe for me personally, when I was coming up with these three things, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's just so many things that I could share with them, ideas to give them to try, but how do I even narrow it down? And so for some of them on my list here of three, I'm like, these are things that we actually haven't done in a while now. And so I'm really excited to share these with you guys. And the other things that I have coming up in the lineup for the podcast this month, again, it is Love Month. The month of February is Love Month. So we are talking all things love and sex and just the typical things that we have, going on this podcast. But for this month, we're talking today three kinky things that you can try for Valentine's Day. I'm going to be talking next week about spanking. Yes, I'm going to actually invite Danny, I think, to come on the podcast with me because we have been dabbling in spanking together more and more and more. When I went on that women's retreat in October, we learned spanking techniques there during an erotic blueprint workshop with each other. And I was like literally so giddy to bring that home and share that with Danny. And so I was able to then teach him these techniques that I learned. But then also when we went through our couples coaching program in the end of last year, we were taught it again from our mentors. And, then we both got to be in the learning seats sitting next to each other and then being able to practice it on the other end of that Zoom call. Ooh, so spicy. So spicy, so much fun that I'm just forever grateful of the fun and kinkiness that we get to have within our relationship and the fact that we are constantly pushing each other and challenging each other and taking our edges to new limits with one another and wholeheartedly like the safe space that we create for each other. For me, being in this industry and constantly learning new things, like the safeness that he provides to me for me to be able to come to him with these new ideas or come to him with my fantasies or my things that I want to try, and then vice versa for him. I think it's kind of a perk for him to have a wife that is in this industry because there's pretty much nothing that he can bring to me at this point that I'm going to be like, whoa, what do you mean you want to try that? Like I truly think that I have heard it all at this point. However, you never know because the world of sex is always, always changing. So spanking coming up for next week. And if you don't already know, the podcast is now officially on YouTube. So next week's episode, the spanking episode, or any episode, today I'm going to be showing some things while I'm talking about them. So if you are more of a visual person, you can now listen watch the podcast on YouTube. So most episodes now moving forward are going to be up on YouTube. This one today is up on YouTube. So if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or iHeart or Pandora, or whatever it is that you listen on, maybe you want to pop over to YouTube and see what this is all about. And if you are watching on YouTube, this will be the last time you see me without my tattoo sleeve all covered in. I go today in about an hour from now to go and get it colored in. So I'm so excited. And if you follow me on social media, you'll see all of that goodness. All right, so what else are we talking? Oh, then I'm going to be talking about king and queen worships. This is something that I've dabbled in a little bit on the social media platforms, but have not actually recorded a full-on episode about it. And I get a lot of questions about what is it? So I'm going to record a podcast on that. And this is a tool, if you will, or a thing or a practice that you can implement into your relationship that makes every month love month. Which who doesn't want more of that? And when I say that, that reminds me when Danny and I first started dating, literally almost 10 years ago, 10 years in April, slash May, depending on who you ask. 10 years in April, we will have been together. Granted, we've known each other for most of our life, but officially in the intimate space together for 10 years. And we've always been the couple that really hasn't celebrated Valentine's Day. And I always jokingly would say, oh, like every day is Valentine's Day in our relationship. And in the beginning of the, relationship, I would say that jokingly, but now truly, like with the intention that we put into our relationship and our marriage at this point, every day truly does feel like Valentine's Day, and every month feels like love month. Do we have our highs and our lows? Yes, of course. Do we have the days that we disagree on things and that we maybe argue on things? Yes. Does it ever get to the point where we're fighting, quote unquote, fighting with each other? No, because we are doing these things on a daily. We know how to come back to love. We know how to come back to connection with each other. We know what's important to us. And that is such an important foundation to have in your relationships. Like truly, truly, truly so, so, so important. So, and then last but not least, we're talking squirting on the podcast this month, y'all. It has been a long time coming, no pun intended. But I think it's time. I get a lot of questions when I do my peer romance parties. I get a lot of questions from women about squirting. Typically, it's them wanting to squirt because they've seen it in porn, or it's a partner that is trying to make them squirt, or perhaps they've squirted for the first time and they're like, what does this mean? What is this stuff that's coming out of my body? So all of the questions that you have, we're going to go through them. I'll put up a poll on my story actually for that. And I want to hear your questions about what do you have? What questions do you have about squirting? So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're following on Instagram at the_Rachel_Maine. Yes. Okay. Let's dive into this. Okay. 3 kinky things to try for Valentine's Day this year in 2023. Okay. Number 1. This might come as a shocker. Probably not. But number 1 on my kinky things to try for Valentine's Day is to try a sex toy. Yes. Think about this. Okay. Valentine's Day is on a Tuesday. So maybe you're celebrating the week before Valentine's Day, the weekend before Valentine's Day, right? Maybe you're going to celebrate over the weekend because we all know going to a restaurant or going out on the actual day itself is basically hell, especially if you are an introvert like myself and don't really like to do the whole peopling thing. You might be celebrating a day after or a few days after. Okay. So imagine this. You do some Googling. Go and find a local sex toy store, and maybe you want to go shopping together. There's actually a sex toy store. If you're local to me here in Michigan, there's a sex toy store, a luxury sex toy store that just opened up in my area. I believe in Monroe County, I believe. And that is definitely something that I'm wanting to check out. I've not really been in many sex stores. Of course, I've been into like a lover's lane and stuff before. I don't actually know if I've ever even bought something from a sex toy store. I've been going to pure romance parties since I've been 18. So that's been my sex toy distributors for the last, years. So okay, anyway, so buying a sex toy together, this can be such a fun experience that you have with each other. So going into that store, and what I hear from most people that do this for the first time is that they realize, holy cow, that there's so many things to choose from. A lot of people think that sex toys are all penis shaped, right? They all look the same. They all have a curve to it. They all have like these balls inside and these little clitoral ticklers on them. The rabbit, right? Like when you think of a sex toy, most people, from what I hear, that's what they think. And this, when I'm doing my pure romance parties, I love this reaction that I get from women when I'm showing them our line of toys, and it's like, oh my God, like it's so tiny, it's so discreet, it's not penis shaped, it's not intimidating, it curves perfectly to your body. It molds perfectly once it's inside your body. The texture of it is so soft. It's not metal, it's not hard, it's not poking me, it's flexible. And I love that. And so being able to go with your partner to a sex store or plan B, of course, you all know I am a sex toy distributor myself. I've been with Pure Romance for 8.5 years now. And so you can, if you want to shop from home, from the comfort of your home and do some online shopping, check out the link in my bio. I will also link it here in the show notes for you, make it easy. And it really is a one-stop shop. You need lube, you need enhancements, you want some massage products, you want some lingerie, you want some bedroom toys, you want some bondage, right? Whatever it is, we have that for you. And you're supporting me, yours truly. And I appreciate that. And it will also ship from me with love, doesn't ship from a corporate warehouse. Like literally, I personally package your order, write a little thank you note on it, send you a free sample pack. And it's just a fun experience to get something in the mail from me. I know I'm biased, but it truly is. So either experience. So if you want to go in person and go to a sex shop and find something together that you can talk about and you can choose together, maybe you pick one thing that you can use together. Maybe you do, I buy something for you, you buy something for me, and then that will be our gift to each other for Valentine's Day this year. And then the gift truly is the experience now that we get to have with each other using these toys. And this can be such an easy way, you guys, to really up level your relationship and up level the intimacy and the pleasure that is happening in your relationship. So you have heard me say this before, but toys are your teammates. Toys in the bedroom with partner use is never ever meant to replace our partners. It truly is just added pleasure. And you've heard me talk about C-rings before. I'm a huge proponent of C-rings because it's pleasure for both people, really all people that are involved. And most importantly, you've heard me talk about this toy called Opening Act. So again, if you're looking on YouTube, I got it right here so I can show you. So if you do decide to go purchase, you know exactly which one I'm talking about. Mine is a little bit darker purple right now, but the newer color is a lavender. So it's a lighter purple color that it's going to come in. So if you're shopping on the website, that's what it's going to look like. But Opening Act is hands down, personally, my favorite toy. It has been my favorite toy for many years now, even as we continue adding more and more sex toys to our line. Opening Act is still my go-to. And it's also our go-to to use together in our sex positions. So if it's a matter of foreplay, for instance, like using this toy, Danny can have this toy, has a nice little handle to it, and he can go wherever he wants on my body with this. This has 30 different vibrating patterns. I can use this internally, I can use this externally. It could be a vaginal vibrator, a G-spot vibrator. It makes for a great vibrator underneath the balls, right up against the perineum area. It makes, if you're giving an oral favor, you want to put it on your cheek and give that humming effect, right? A hummer effect. It can be used for that, or if you want to put it on your throat while you're giving an oral favor, it can be used for that. It can be used as a body massager. I mean, literally the list is endless. But why I love toys like this specifically are, women primarily need clitoral stimulation to have an orgasm. Okay, so if you're thinking of positions that don't include clitoral stimulation, let's say, for instance, doggy style. Let's say, for instance, you're laying at the edge of the bed with your feet off the side of the bed, but you're laying on the bed and he's standing up, no clitoral stimulation, right? So thinking through the positions that you're having, even for some people, missionary position, depending on how you're positioning yourself, and the amount of thrusting that you're doing during missionary and the amount of work really that you're putting in during missionary. And I'm speaking specifically to you being on bottom and him on top. Um, you might not be getting the clitoral stimulation that you need even in that position. And again, most women need that to achieve an orgasm. So by using sex toys, bringing toys into your sexcapades, if you will, sexcapades, I don't know why that just came to mind, but we're going with it. Um, this can be such a great way to add some kinkiness to your play, but definitely adding more pleasure to your play. I mean, my gosh, you guys, I just went off 5+ different ways that you could use this toy alone, picking one of them. And especially if it's something that you've never done before, if you've never given a blowjob with a vibrator up against your cheek or up against your throat, hello, mind blown, right? Your partner is gonna be like, whoa, where did that come from? Right? That's my literally one of my favorite reactions that Danny has in the bedroom when we're together. He's like, whoa, what is that? Like, that's a new thing, you know? So it's so much fun that you can have. There's so much variety, you guys. We don't want vanilla ice cream every single time we're going to the bathroom. Oh my gosh, not going to the bathroom. So what I was saying was we don't want vanilla ice cream every time we go to Dairy Queen. I don't know why I said to the bathroom. Oh, forgive me. Oh, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Anyways, so that is your number one. So bringing a sex toy into your partnered play is your first kinky thing to try for Valentine's Day this year. And please let me know how it goes. I love to hear your sex stories. So please either email me, shoot me a DM, whatever it works. But opening act again, highly recommend, or something like this that has a handle you can use externally and internally. So good. And okay, so number two, I already kind of hinted at this, but number two is try a new position together. I will link something in the show notes here for you that was going to give you tons of positions to choose from. Actually, my client and I stumbled over this recently a few months ago, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like what are the names of these things?" So don't pay too much attention to the names. Names do not matter. What matters is that you and your partner, again, this is something that you can pick together. You are experiencing something new. You are trying something new. Guys, nobody wants to be having the same sex in the same position every single time. And these new positions, here's what we do. We have a sex position book, a Kama Sutra book, whatever you want to call it. And what we like to do, and this is particularly when we're kind of both in the mood and we're like, what do you want to do? Like we're already in the space, we're like getting things going. And we want to have more intention behind it. We want to have conversation behind it. We don't want to just jump into our typical positions that we do. Or one of us is like, let's try something new. Like, let's get the book out. So we have this book, and what we do, so I will be holding the book and I'll say, okay, babe, pick a number. He picks a number. I go to that page. Then I look at the position first and I ask myself, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I'm interested in right now? And I love doing this first because as the woman, it's giving you the opportunity to be able to use your voice and to basically vocalize your own pleasure and kind of set your own boundaries as well. So if it's a go, then great. So then I'll show him, all right, this is it. I'm good with this. Are you good with this? He gets to look at it. And sometimes he's like, nah, like that doesn't really look cool. Like, I don't really want to be holding your legs up in the air right now, or I don't really feel like standing or whatever it might be. So basically we have this negotiation together and we are picking a position. Then again, person in the sex industry here, so this might be a little bit nerdy. You definitely do not have to do this, but what we like to do after we pick the new position is after we're finished and we're in our after sex and after care and all of that in our little love bubble, I generally am like, how was that? How was that for you, right? Did you like that one? Did you not like that one? And we rate each of the positions on a scale of 1 to 10. We both do, and then state why we're rating it, the number that we're rating it. And then I write in the book. So why I chose to do this is that once we're finished with all the positions, we can then go back to the book and see, okay, what were the ones that we rated a 10? What were the ones that we rated an 8? Or what were the ones that we rated maybe a 2 or a 3, ones that we didn't like that much that maybe we could try again to see if maybe today is better? Or is there something that we can change up slightly to make it a 5 or make it an 8 or a 10 for us, you know? So trying new positions together, so fun. Some for me to throw out to you that are pretty easy, I think pretty well known. Doggy style position for one. Doggy style position, but with a vibrator. Okay, so you're getting that clitoral stimulation, you're getting that vibration directly to that pleasure point there. And doggy style generally when you see it in a picture, doggy style is literally you're up on all fours, right? Try your doggy style lying flat. So that way, if you are using a vibrator, you can have it basically sandwiched up between the bed and you. And so you're getting more pressure to that clitoral area. So trying that doggy style position. And here's another easy thing to switch that position up. Generally, again, you're on all fours. So if your partner is coming in from behind you, your legs might be a little bit more widened, so parted ways. Try them with your also legs together. So instead of his legs being inside of you, have your legs being on the inside and his legs on the outside. Does that make sense? So your legs would be together and his legs would be, he would basically be straddled around you, or also lying flat, coming in that way. So try that. That has been just that easy change. And Mm. There's nothing sexier when we're in doggy style position. And he particularly knows that I like this position. Doggy is actually personally one of my favorite because I learned a long, long time ago to use a toy during that position. But there's nothing sexier than when he moves my legs together and it feels like a whole different penis at that point. So give those two a try. And then reverse cowgirl would also be another one. Reverse cowgirl, for some people, it can be a little bit intimidating. Your partner is getting that very visual view of your backside, which is great for them, especially if they're a butt person. But having yourself in reverse cowgirl, you can do this in many ways. You can be sitting upright and grinding on them. You can be straddled, essentially twerking on them, right? So getting some good gripping your knees going and get that ass moving up and down. You can do it that way, or you can lie flat. And then basically your feet would be up by their head and your head would be down by their feet. But again, these simple things, and technically when you change from sitting upright to twerking to laying flat, like the name of the position changes. So really it's like 3 in 1. But those would be my top 2 recommendations for you to try this, for this, if you're trying to get more kinky for Valentine's Day this year. Definitely the reverse cowgirl. I don't think that's generally a position that people go in, but it's a fun one. It is definitely a fun one. And reverse cowgirl in that upright position, probably not getting a lot of clitoral stimulation. So I invite you to grab your sex toy during that position. Telling you. And yeah, it's sexy. That is like one of my porn star feel moves is when I'm in reverse cowgirl and I'm doing the ass twerk feel, I don't know. I just yeah, feel like a porn star and I like it. Okay. Then your third kinky thing to try. So we have number 1 was use a sex toy together. Number 2 was to try a new position together, including the sex toy, if you will. And number 3 is to watch porn together. Yes, and this was actually the one in the beginning when I mentioned when I was coming up with this list, the watching porn together was the one that I was talking about when I was saying something that we don't do often. And it is funny because we both love watching porn. I would say him probably more than not loves it more. He probably more so utilizes porn during his masturbation versus me. I have a very powerful mind during my masturbation, so I don't necessarily always need something as a visual stimulant, but there are sometimes that I just want that. I want to have that different experience. And so I will go to porn. Um, so your porn recommendation. So for me personally, again, I know I'm biased, but I go to OnlyFans. There are some beautiful, beautiful people, attractive people, people that are my type of attractiveness and my type of kink, really, that have free profiles on there that you can follow. If you then choose to pay for their paid content, you can do that. That's my shout out to support a sex worker by subscribing to their OnlyFans page. And also, if that is not your cup of tea, that's okay. My favorite, favorite, favorite porn site is Bellesa. It's BELLESA.co. And Bellesa is female made porn for females. So, and it is ethical porn. And that's one of the hangups that I get with women in particular, coaching clients of mine that I work with that are women, that they're unsure if, the women in the porn, they're unsure if they're of age, they're unsure if consent is happening, they're unsure if they're being treated correctly. So Bellesa is something that I can definitely stand by. When you are watching these videos, you see consent happening, and some of them you see condom use happening. In some of them you hear STI conversations happening, right? Like they are doing this very, very well. And the storylines I feel are a little bit more realistic than some other porn sites that I've used. And again, just the female made, like what that means to me, female made, is that the porn is realistic. The porn is showing her pleasure. It's showing real orgasms. It's not showing, so much of the fake things. It's not showing, squirting, where in some porn, when you see people squirting and other types of porn, literally women are injecting water into their vaginas so that they can have this big, huge squirting scene during porn. Okay. You're not going to get that on Bellesa. You're going to get just good quality porn on Bellesa, and it's free to view on their website. So check that out, BELLESA.co. I believe it's co. It might be .com, but I'll link it in the show notes for you. And also Bellesa has an erotica podcast on there too. So I mentioned this on Instagram the other day, but listening to erotica or reading erotica is such a great way to add more eroticism into your life, and it can help also increase desire, increase libido. So for women or men that are struggling to get in the mood, reading or listening to erotica, highly, highly recommend. Okay, so those are your 3 kinky things to try for 2023. I am so excited to hear how they go for you guys. Please, please, please send me a DM. I would love to hear how your Valentine's Day goes this year. And I can't wait to hear all you little kinky fucks out there getting your little kinky stuff on. So again, to recap, number 1 is use sex toy together. Number 2 is to try a new position together. And number 3 is to watch porn together. So thanks for listening to this episode, y'all. I'll be back next week with your spanking episode. Definitely check out the YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, especially if this is your first time hearing about it. And we'll be back next week for another juicy, juicy episode. Have a great day, y'all.
Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you really fucking loved it, make sure to tag me on social media at @TheRachelMain. I'll see you next week.